Hello and welcome back, 40k scientists, to yet another episode of the Theory Hammering. I'm Kevbot, it's close to Halloween, and so I thought we would take a deeper look into the Nightbringer, since he's spooky and such, and when you know it, he's like the other best monster in the game. So we're going to give him a little video here, and if you guys like these unit breakdowns, thunderhammer that like button, the subscribe button, and Nurgle's bell icon, and then leave a comment and check out our other videos. We do also have a second channel, which is linked in the description. It's got like a little bit of Let's Plays on there, some podcasts are going to be up on there, that kind of stuff, so if you want to check it out, the link is down below. Now, really quickly, I do want to mention that we did have a giveaway for 1,000 subscribers, which we've already completely blown past, but if you're watching this video before October 6th, check the description to see if you're the winner of that giveaway, and that would be October 6th, 2024. Alright, so today is actually tonight, I guess. Tonight of the Nightbringer. Okay, funny joke. So, Nightbringer. This unit is great. Let's just get right into this and take a look at his data sheet. So very slow, only moves 6 inches, but he can advance and the table's small, so whatever. He's toughness 11. He has a 4-up save, he has 12 wounds, a leadership 6, and an OC of 4. It's got a 4-up invuln. He then comes with a ranged weapon, which isn't great, but it isn't bad. It's D3 shots at 18 inches, always hitting on 2s. Of course, it's Nightbringer, it's a big thing, it's going to be hitting on 2s. It's strength 12. It's only AP 2 though, but it is D6 plus 3 damage. So basically what this does is it either does nothing, or it just completely one-shots a tank, or some other big thing. Now, for melee, he is rocking 6 attacks, at strength 14, AP 4, and D6 plus 2 damage with dev wounds. Or if you want to sweep with him, strength 8, AP 2 damage with 14 attacks. He then has Deadly Demise D6, and Feel No Pain 5+. He also halves damage, and at the beginning of the fight phase, you roll a D6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches of him. On a 4-up, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. So if you can get him into the thick of the enemy's stuff, and there's a bunch of stuff around what he charged, they could all be potentially taking some mortal wounds. So not great there, not terrible, but kind of cool. And overall, it's just a great unit on its own. It does not put out insane damage, and I'll show you, but it is really durable. And when it's used right, it can just easily own an area of the table and just absorb a lot more firepower than your opponent really wants to put into it. Now with these weapons, let's just take a look at some of the stuff that he can do. I'm not going to worry about his gun, we're just going to be taking a look at his combat. So here we have these little charts again. Now if you're wounding on 4s, and you're getting, they're getting a 4-up invuln, so something that's toughness 8 or higher, that's -1 to wound, that has a 4-up invuln, so the avatar. You'll do about 9 damage. If you're attacking a unit and you're using this profile, you'll kill 1 to 2 models. It kind of just depends on what you're attacking there. If you're wounding something on 4s and it's getting a 5-up invuln, so something toughness 8 or higher that would have like a 5+ invuln, not sure what that is, but you do 10 to 11 wounds or about 2 models if you're attacking some kind of unit. And then if you're wounding on 4s and they're getting a 6-up save, so something toughness 8 or higher with -1 to wound with a 6-up save, or 6-up invuln, something along those lines, which I don't know what that would be, but he does about 12 damage to that, or kills about 2 models again. Now if you're wounding something on 3s and they're getting a 4-up invuln, so say like a Lancer Knight, he will do 11 to 12 wounds to that. If you're attacking some sort of unit, he'll kill about 2 models. If you're wounding on 3s and the armor save is a 5-up, he's going to be doing about 14 damage to something, or kill 2 to 3 models, so that's going to be something like a Land Raider, even with Armor of Contempt. If you're wounding on 3s, and you're causing a 6-up save, so say like a Leman Russ, you'll do about 16 damage or 3 models. So you just one-shot a Leman Russ there, you almost one-shot a Land Raider there, with Armor of Contempt. And then when you're wounding on 2s, and they're getting a 4-up invuln, so like Terminators, maybe like War Suits, that's a good example, from Sisters of Battle or Adeptus Sororitas, toughness 7 with a 4-up invuln, so you're wounding them on 2s, you'll do about 14 damage, or you'll kill 2 to 3 models, which is pretty good against War Suits. If you're wounding on 2s and you're getting like a 5-up invuln, so like 8 bound or something, you'll do 17 damage to a single target or kill about 3 models. And if you're wounding on 2s and they're getting a 6-up save, so I don't know, Broadsides or Centurions, something like that, you're doing about 20 damage or you're killing 2 to 4 models. It just depends how many wounds they have. Because when you're wounding something on 2s, it's toughness 7 or less, and those models typically don't have that many wounds. They might be like 3 or 4. So it just depends what you're attacking there. If you want to sweep with him though, this is the kind of damage that you're looking at there. If you're wounding on 4s and they get a 3-up save, I don't even know what this would be, like Votan Terminators, I guess. you'll do about 4 damage to a single target, or you'll kill about 2 models, so pretty underwhelming for sure. If you're winning on 4s and you're getting a 4-up save, so you're sweeping against Lich Guard, I guess, you'll do about 6 damage, or you'll kill about 3 models. If you're winning on 4s and you're getting a 5-up save, so some orc unit, I don't know, like squig hog dudes with artist nails on them during the WOG, you'd be winning them on 4s, they'd be getting a 5-up save. So you do about 8 damage to that target, or you kill about 4 models depending on what they are. If you're winning on 4s and you're getting a 6-up save, so like the Squig Hog boys without the WOG, you do about 10 damage, or you kill about 5 models just depending on what you're attacking there. If you're literally attacking Squig Hog boys, you probably don't kill 5 models. It depends what it is that you're swinging on there. Now, if you're winning on 3s, you could be getting a 3-up save if you have Armor of Contempt, so let's say Centurions with Armor of Contempt. You do about 5 damage there, or you kill 1 to 2 models still, which isn't bad. It's kind of bad, actually. If you're winning on 3s, and they're getting a 4-up save, you do about 8 damage, kill 2 to 4 models, so that's something like Custodes. If you're winning on 3s, and they're getting a 5-up save, so like Aggressors, you do about 10 damage, or kill about 2 to 4 models. If you're winning on 3s, and they're getting a 6-up, like Votan Bikes, 13 damage to a single thing, 3 to 6 models. And then if you're winning on 2s, so 2s, and then you got a 3-up save because you're Grey Knight Marines with Armor of Contempt, you do about 6 damage, or you kill about 2 to 3 models. If you're winning on 2s and you're getting a 4-up invuln, so Sisters with an Imagifier in the unit, you do about 10 damage to some single target, or you kill 3 to 4 models, just depending. And then once you go into 2s and 5s, you're looking at about 13 damage, or about 3 to 6 models, maybe like a Cursed Cultist, I'm not really sure. There's a bunch of things out there with 5-up invulns that are squishy like that, so I'm not exactly sure. Maybe some AdMech infantry or something there. But yeah, 3 to 6, not great. If we're talking 2s and 6s, so 2s to wound 6-up save, you do about 16 damage, or you kill like 4 to 8 models, which would be like Guardsmen with +1 save. And so that's the kind of damage output that he can do. He's definitely better against like tougher targets, and he's not great against like infantry units or just like big units in general. He just doesn't have a ton of attacks. Now, if we're taking a look at his durability, it's gonna take 486 bolter shots to kill this guy, which is actually less than some of the other units that are like him. It only takes 81 autocannon shots, only takes 45 melta shots, and that's of course within melta range, and then you're looking at 36 las cannons to do the job. So, all very unrealistic numbers at the end of the day there. And so yeah, this guy's very, very difficult to deal with because of that half damage and that 5-up feel no pain. And so he's just a great unit on its own. He doesn't put out like insane damage, but he is really durable. And when he's used right, he can just own areas of the table and absorb a lot more firepower than your opponent really wants to put into him. And then separately, with some support, this thing can also heal a ton of wounds if you don't kill it in one go, like at least in one turn. The Technomancer, he can heal it D3 wounds. It itself heals D3 wounds. If you have a Canoptic Reanimator, it can heal an additional D3 wounds. And that damn Reanimator is only 75 points. Like, its range is small, but it itself is annoying to kill because it has a 4-up feel no pain, and people like don't normally go after it. And if you're hiding, you can just kind of keep it alive pretty well. So anyway, it makes the Nightbringer fucking impossible to kill. And if you cannot kill it in one go, expect it to heal 2 D3 wounds at least in the next turn. You'll likely see one of these in every single list, but in the Canoptic Court, you can expect to see a unit of Wraiths with a Technomancer go up with him just to keep him nice and healthy there. But past that, he does not have all that much synergy. The one thing that it did have, which was hilarious, was it was able to deep strike within 3 inches in the Hypercrypt detachment, but you can't do that anymore. But I don't think that's really a problem, the fact that he doesn't have a lot of stratagems and other synergies that you can really put on him, because of his heal and his durability, it just makes him so scary. You try to deal with him, to deal damage to him, you get him down to like 4 wounds, then he heals 2, and then the Technomancer heals like another 2, now he's back up to 8, and he's scary because not a whole lot of things can just take him out, like just generally speaking. Most anti-tank shooting just bounces off of him, unless it's in like really large volume, like you need 35 las cannons to kill him. You need 81 autocannon shots to kill, like you need volume of that kind of stuff to kill him. And the same's pretty true in combat as well. Even really strong things in combat are dealing with his 4-up invuln, they're dealing with his half damage, they're dealing with a 5-up feel no pain. So unless like all the star gods align, you ain't easily killing this motherfucker in one turn. You'll likely need a lot of shooting followed up by a lot of good combat. and that can be really hard when he has Wraiths and a Technomancer nearby. So the Nightbringer is really good first points. He fills a role that I really like seeing in this edition, which is the role of a big, scary threat that puts out a lot of damage, takes a lot of damage, and is just pretty reasonable for its cost. He forces people to either move away from him, or to try to ignore him, or just commit like way too much to get rid of him. And that kind of leaves you in a good position either way. He's kind of a spooky guy, you know? So I try to avoid him if I can, but sometimes you just can't. And when you try to kill him, just nothing is efficient at doing it. And so you have to commit way more than you want to. And this could be a potential problem. Like, you can try to use this to bait people into doing it. Like, yeah, they're probably going to kill him, but don't be sad, because they had to put a ton of stuff into him to actually do it, and so it probably leaves you in a good position that turn. You definitely want to use him as a tool to kind of move your opponents around the board and to put them into positions where they don't want to be. If you can stage with this guy really well, you'll draw in the units you want while hiding this guy. Or you can just make your opponent scared and force them to move away if they don't have things that can really like deal with him. So just try to keep him in positions where he's hidden, and that's the most important part. And then he can come out swinging along with your Wraiths and the other stuff that you have. He does have some drawbacks, like all things. He is susceptible to mortal wounds, and while he does have that feel no pain, being able to tank shock and grenade him automatically like half his wounds, he has basically no shooting. It's like one, you know, like I said, it either does nothing or just one shot to tank. And since it's not reliable enough, he just doesn't have a gun in my mind. He's also very slow, and moving that 6 inches, he doesn't have any access to advance and charge, so you do have to use him in a way where he is effective by moving him up but keeping him hidden, and kind of keeping your flanks free from enemy deep striking that could potentially get in there and get some shots on him. I've had to face this thing more than once. I have a Necron army as well. I use him in my Necron army, and he just does so much work every game. He just moves up to the middle, like behind cover, but he moves up to the middle and sits there and just either makes your opponent go, oh shit, I gotta move away from this, and I just have that objective the entire game, or they try to come towards him and they just get ripped apart by all the other stuff that's there. Or they overcommit, they put way too much stuff in that area, they shoot everything and they charge the Nightbringer and they kill him, but then they just get wiped in return and they make a really bad trade. And that's so good. Like, he's really good at making people do bad trades because he's so durable. People are like, okay, and he's kind of like unpredictably durable because of that feel no pain. When you go in there and you're like, okay, I should do it like enough to get rid of him, and then I make an extra invuln, and then I just make a couple extra feel no pains, that swings it, and like he lives at that point, and now you're like, fuck, I didn't even do what I needed to do, and I couldn't even kill this thing, and now this unit is dead. So he really is good at kind of trading because he's so hard to kill. He's a really good unit, guys. You got to take a Nightbringer. Just make sure that you hide him, but after like turn 2, turn 3, he can just get in there, and hopefully at that point you've played the game in a way where you also have a lot of your assets still alive, at least more of your important ones, him included, and you can just get in there and start crushing things at that point in the game. It's hard to, as long as you've played the game in a way where you've actually done some damage to your opponent in the second and third turns. First turn doesn't really happen too much unless your opponent's very aggressive on their first turn, they went first, but once that starts happening, once stuff starts dying, less and less things can start dealing with the I almost called him the Avatar, with the Nightbringer, because he's just so damn hard to deal with in the first place. Like, there's a reason why you see this guy in quite literally every Necron list, because he's an auto take. He is the auto take of all Necron armies. Doesn't matter what detachment you're using, the Nightbringer is good. I think he's the best in the Canoptic Court just because of, you can take Technomancers and stuff outside the Canoptic Court. They're best in it, and so it just makes sense to have them with Wraiths anyway in there, and so it's kind of just a nice little synergy that kind of buffs him up and makes him harder to kill. So I think that he's probably the best in there, because there's like no stratagems that you can use on this guy. Like Hypercrypt Legion, literally 0 stratagems can target him now. Same goes with Obeisance Phalanx. The only stratagem there that you could actually use on him is Enslaved Artifice, but he doesn't have lethal or sustain, so it's completely useless. Canoptic Court, every single stratagem literally has to be done on either a Cryptek or Canoptic unit, which he is neither. In Awakened Dynasty, you could technically use the Hungry Void on him so that he could get +1 strength, but that doesn't help you like ever at all for any reason, and so you would never do that. You could give him an assault weapon and allow him to reroll his advance rolls, but you're also not going to do that. And if you really want, you could shoot back at somebody with him, but his gun is either all or nothing, so you're not going to do that. And so the Awakened Dynasty basically has 0 stratagems that are useful on him as well. And then our Annihilation Legion stratagems can only target destroyers or flayed ones. So yeah, Awakened Dynasty is basically the only detachment where he has stratagems, but they're all completely useless on this guy. So I do think Canoptic Court is probably where he belongs if you had to choose. You're taking him either way, no matter what detachment you're running. But in the Canoptic Court, you are going to be running the Technomancers, probably with 2 units of Wraiths and then other stuff. So yeah, I think that he probably fits in there, just because those Wraiths are really nice. They also want to get up in combat, and yeah, he can just co-op with them and just be like, hey, try to kill both of us now. So that's really nice to have as well. What the hell do I know, though? Let me know what you guys think down below. Did I get the Nightbringer right? Did I get him wrong? Leave me a comment, and of course, thunderhammer that like button, the subscribe button, and Nurgle's bell icon. And when you're done with all that, check out our other videos as well. No funny outro this time. I'm just gonna say Happy Halloween, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.